So, Rune, you're driving around back home. You visited our island not too long ago. How long ago was that
Yeah.
actually?
It's 2 months now. Yeah, 2 months, 7 weeks. Exactly.
That's not a long time. However, you just today told me you're feeling completely different.
Well, I mean, like what happened? I came down there and I was feeling like I was 20 years older than I was. I had different symptoms because it affected me differently than it does others. And I spoke to some of the other patients. Everybody's kind of affected differently. But it's the same thing that's happening to us. The 2 hours in the first session was the first time in 2 years I didn't have a headache. And on the second session was the first time I didn't have pain in my chest when I was breathing. And like I think it was the third or fourth session where I think I'd been there for a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, was the first time I had a full day from getting up 7:30 in the morning, just waking up by myself, no have to force it and drink 5 pots of coffee, where I had a full day. And I remember going for dinner with one of the other patients in the evening, and we'd been out swimming, we had been walking, and it was Cyprus, so it was a couple of 30 degrees and so forth. And I came home and I went to bed and I was like, whoa, that was how life was. That was the feeling I had. I mean, like suddenly I didn't have that sluggishness, tiredness, shortness of breath, slight brain fog. I mean, like it was the first day where I was like fully clear. And then on the
For how
week
long had it been going
after,
on at that time? You had it like for a very long time.
I had it for a very long time. I tried a lot of things. I mean, like I thought, maybe if there was something mental, maybe there's something with working out. I mean, I did vegan fasting, I did a ton of things. And
It must
I,
have
I
been
think
several
that
years that you had it, right? Like how many years did you
I
have
had
it?
it 2 years,
Two
two and
years.
a half years, two,
Two and a
two,
half
two and a
years.
half years, yeah. And I'd say now I'm like 8 weeks in, is like I've had 1 or 2 days where I felt a little bit like, oh, I got tired again, but that's it. I mean, it's total 4 days in the last 2 months where I felt like I managed to go on a holiday. I've had full days. I wake up by myself. It's a whole different experience. I mean, it it's so changed that
Love hearing
I
that.
first I was like, yeah, exactly. I mean, like, but it's the combination of it as well. I mean, but the first time I didn't have a headache was like, now when we're talking about it, I'm like, I'm so grateful because it's like I almost forgot how it felt. I almost forgot how it was for almost 2 years.
You can't really explain
It's
this to other people who have not been in our shoes. I try to
no,
sometimes, but we today in an earlier talk we said it's invisible, it's cruel, and it's literally unexplainable to third parties. It's very hard.
I think if you broke both your legs or you had a stroke or something else, then it's very clear to say, oh, that's what it is, or something else happened, or because the scan doesn't show much. The blood sample shows a few little things, minor things, but I'm a young man, I'm in my late 40s, but I'm a young man, and I had got so used to it because it was a gradual decrease. It wasn't like, you woke up, yes, you had the disease, then, yes, 2 days after the vaccine, I had these symptoms, but it wasn't like that feeling of sluggishness, that feeling of like just not being alive was not sort of like bam, it wasn't like in a day, it was gradual, and it was like every day it just got worse and worse.
If you would need to phrase these 2.5 years of being incredibly ill, not expecting anything to help anymore, then giving this as a last resort treatment a shot, and then recovering. If you would need to put this in a few sentences to somebody who's still out there feeling like you felt, what would you tell that person?
I'd say like there's nothing more important in your life, and that feeling that I had, like there is a light out there. So the very, very short sentence is like, try it. You can't really lose on that. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But on the other hand, it helps. And I've seen it from other patients when I was there, and I've seen it with people who's really had the time with it. Try it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's 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 such a lifesaver. I mean, like 2.5 years, I did not think that I would get back to life. Like having that energy that I have. I wouldn't I didn't think it was possible. I thought I'd have to go through years and years of pushing myself physically hard, and it was like every day was like running a marathon, you know. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth it. It's worth a try, you know. Like for me, it worked on the first one was the headache, second one was the chest pain, the lungs and this stuff here, and on the third one I was like, hold on, you know, I can function again. Then I need a bit more, but it was still, that was already how fast it worked on me.
Were you surprised that Cyprus, who most people don't understand that we have one of Europe's best private health systems, has a clinic that, well, we're the only English-speaking clinic. Was that much? Because I think you remember you told me you've heard in Thailand about us, right? You told me, well, I've heard in Thailand about you. And I was like, okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. Was it weird that there is only one English-speaking clinic that focuses on this? Was that kind of strange?
yeah, because it's like I had to call the German guys to find you in Cyprus and so forth, because there's I think it's a German doctor who came up with the idea, and there was a bit of controversy about it. Oh yeah, this is not the right thing. And you know, I studied a lot on it but then a friend told me, and I was like, but that's the same symptoms I have. You know, I'm a fighter, so I would go through, you know, that was just what life was. Okay, well, you know, that's what life is. It's hard, you know, like just go through it. So I'm a fighter in this way. But then I mean, like, Markus, we're talking about it now, and I'm like, I'm just thinking about 1 month, like 3 months ago. Like I remember around March time, and I was like sitting there, and I was like, I really thought that was life, and I realized that now that's how it is. But it's so invisible, and people don't see it. And you're sitting there alone. I've spoken to people now when I admitted it, and I was like coming out with it and saying it, and they go like, hold on, you know, like I know someone who's got the same. I'd say if you're out there alone suffering from it, it's worth trying. I'm not joking about it. It's not a joke. It's not something that isn't, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's other things that can be done, but it's like life shouldn't be that way. I really thought it was that. If I hadn't heard about it by word of mouth from someone who had gone through it, I don't know if I would have found it.
Yeah, that's what people tell us. We're hard to find, so we're trying to market things, but I'm gonna be honest, we're great at treating people. And the treatments now that we're getting, hyperthermia and IVIG and all of those and immunoabsorption, they're even making the portfolio so crazy that I was joking with the team. I said, we can now literally resurrect dead people from the grave, but we're not very good in marketing it. So that's something we still learn. Don't forget, we never planned to do this.
It's not a dangerous procedure. It's not something that does at worst case, if it's not a thing, well, at least it clears out your cholesterol for a little bit and a few other things, and then you can say, well, okay, that's not for me. But to me, it was like, okay, well, it clears out a few other things as well.
Yeah.
You know, so you know,
Hundreds,
my eyesight,
over 1,000.
my eyesight got better after it. You know,
I know, it's crazy. It's very crazy.
It's not a miracle thing, but I understand why some rich people have it at home. Why they have a machine at home. I understand that. It's like I know now, you know, one of the doctors that was there, because there's a lot of doctors visiting there, she had got her own H.E.L.P machine at home now, like for doing this stuff here. Now I understand why some very, very rich people will have the machine
this
at
is
home.
crazy. There is a lot of A-listers, sports, movies, and so on. And they've always done the same treatments. H.E.L.P apheresis and IVIG combined, right? Those were the two go-tos.
Yeah. And it makes sense. You know, like even if it's not that, you know, like you will get benefits of it. It's like even if it's not that, you know. But yeah, thanks for reminding me, Markus. I was like, yeah, okay, that was 2 months ago. That was how life was. Now it's different, you know. And it's every single day. It's like I think I had 4 days where I was like, oh, it's coming back, and that was just tiredness, sleepiness. Had a long flight and so forth. So no, it's definitely worth trying.
Rune, thank you so much for your time. This was amazing.
You're welcome.
And we always meet twice in life. We're definitely going to see each other again.
Yeah, we'll see each other this time. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Perfect. Thank you
Right,
so much, Rune. We'll talk very soon.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.